Summertime is here. Time to get outside and enjoy life. And there's no better place to do that than right here in historic Oldtown, Portsmouth, with live music, concerts, festivals, and much more. We'll tell you all about it right here, right now on this episode of Portsmouth Now. Welcome to this June-July 2024 episode of Portsmouth Now. I'm your host, Rob Lauer. Come summertime, it's not unusual to hear music in the air here in historic Old Town Portsmouth, especially if you're in the vicinity of the Portsmouth Art and Cultural Center on the first Friday night of every month. Here's Stephen Gurnett to tell us about concerts in the courtyard. Stephen, welcome back to Portsmouth Now.
Thank you so much, Rob.
So, if people want to go to the Portsmouth Art and Cultural Center, first, where are they located? For people who may not know where that is, where are you located?
Okay, so we're in the historic 1846 courthouse structure on the corner of Court and High, right across from Trinity Church on the High Street side on the Commodore Movie Theater.
So you're pretty much the dead center of Old
Yeah,
Town.
it was actually I think known as the Four Corners, that was kind of named the center spot of the Old Town district by Colonel Crawford when he founded Portsmouth.
Yeah, I know they used to have the court, usually was right across from the church because the church kept here family law, the court was criminal law. Yeah. So you're in the courtyard, you're housed in that beautiful building.
Right,
building.
so the building is completely revamped and inside we have changing exhibits or events. But during the summertime, we have a lot more going on outside in the courtyard.
And it's a beautiful courtyard.
Yes, it's a historic courtyard. Like I said, the courthouse and the courtyard were sort of arranged and constructed in 1846 before the Civil War. It's been redone and refurbished quite a few times since then, but it's still very much like it was in 1846. And what we do now is have a lot of activities and events inside the courtyard when it's nice enough out. So we have a Friday concert every first Friday of the month, and this starts in April and it goes through October. This year's is sponsored by the Support Portsmouth Public Art, which is a fantastic local arts organization.
They're responsible for most of like the murals and statues on the streets.
They just had a festival a couple weekends ago. With a mural festival. And so we've got 6 more murals as a result, and it was also a fun event. So they sponsored these events, and then we get local bands. So these bands are, locally based, and we've already had a couple, but in the months of June and July, we've got Paul Urban and his group. We've got Alan Hudson and the Half Moons coming in July. And these events are free and open to the public. Yeah. And then we'll have food and beverages for sale, but there's no cost to come in, and they're also 5 to 8, so it's kind of a good time period because they don't go so late. So if you want to have dinner or catch something later, then you've got plenty of time.
Yeah, I mean, you could do dinner before. You could actually go there for a couple hours, listen to the music, sort of snack, have a couple glasses of wine, and then go to one of the nice restaurants in Old Town.
Exactly.
Or go to the movies over at the Commodore. But it really can be the beginning of a fun night out on Friday, or the end. It's a great way to decompress at the end of a workday.
Yeah. And they're also sponsored. So the Support Portsmouth Public Art is the umbrella sponsor, and then this year they have also partnered with the Commissioner of the Revenue, the Portsmouth Commissioner of the Revenue, Frankie Edmondson. And they're doing a great job to get more attention to these events. And also there's an art market around the courtyard during these concerts. So there's more than just the concert going on. That people can partake in. And then on Saturdays, a lot of times the following day, is the first Saturday of the month, where they have an art market and a flea market in combination with the farmer's market, which is every Saturday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And during those morning hours, we like to do art activities in the courtyard, and a lot of times, especially those first Saturdays, I'll have more local music playing in the courtyard. It's much less formal than the Friday concerts, but they're still really nice, and people can purchase stuff at the market and then kind of come and unpackage it and eat it.
Well, I know I've gotten baked goods at the market and then come and set it in the courtyard at one of the tables and things. And it's really, for those who haven't been there, it's like a historic building. And you're in the middle of Oldtown, which is a walkable historic neighborhood, but you have beautiful trees. It's shady in there.
Yeah, those
it's
live
so
oaks.
nice. And you don't really feel like you're in the center of the city when you're there.
Yeah,
it's very relaxed.
Shrouded with all those live oak trees.
Yeah. Now the Friday evening, I know you have seats set up, but you can also like bring a lawn chair, can't you, if you want?
Yeah, you can. You can't bring your own alcohol inside.
Right.
But you can bring your own food.
Okay.
So if you wanted to go to like one of the local restaurants across the street and bring something like a pizza or a sandwich, that's absolutely fine. Yeah.
Well,
a lot of people do that.
I know I've been down in Oldtown or down at Portsmouth, that particular Friday night, and I've forgotten it's the first Friday, and I'll hear the music, and it's sort of, yeah. I'll take that again.
Okay.
I know that I've been down. Okay. I know I've been in Old Town Portsmouth on that particular Friday, not realizing it was the first Friday of the month, and have heard the music. And it's going on, and I'll scroll past there, and it's sort of, the music sort of rips all over Old Town.
Yeah, it makes even if you're not in the courtyard,
if you're not in the courtyard,
it just feels really nice.
It really does. It really does. Well, thanks for being here and telling us what's coming up this summer. Anything else that you'd like to share at this point?
Well, we have a number of bands for those first Friday concerts. So after July, we've got Ward's Pocket, which is one of my favorite local bands. They'll be performing in August 2nd. We've got the Tumbleweed Brothers in September, and the last show is another local favorite, Jonah Ross.
Oh yeah.
So he'll be closing out the season.
That's great. Well, sounds like another great season.
I'm looking forward to it.
I
Thank you.
am too. And really, be sure to check out the Portsmouth Art and Cultural Center, but particularly on the first Friday night of every month.
Oh,
because
from 5 to 8. From
5 to 8, Portsmouth Art and Cultural Center, music in the courtyard, concerts in the courtyard, a little bit of wine, food in the courtyard. It's a great way to, like I said, decompress at the end of a busy work day or just start to kick off your weekend. Oldtown Portsmouth is certainly the place to be every Saturday morning in the summer. Here's Jim and Kathy Cullen to tell us about the weekly Oldtown Farmers Market. Jim, Kathy, welcome back to Portsmouth Now.
Thank you.
I know one of the place to be really on Saturday morning in Oldtown is the Farmers Market. So it's basically every Saturday during the summer.
Yep.
Almost throughout the year. I know there are a few months off in winter and all, but pretty much on Saturday morning, it's open.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so tell us what we find there in the summer months in June and July.
Well, we're going into our summer season, so we have the hours are 9 to 2. But please get there early if you want your baked goods or produce because they sell out.
Yeah.
We have our summer vendors are back with flowers, plants. We also have included some face painters, fairy hair, pet portrait people, so some activities for the kids.
Yeah.
Okay.
And of course more musicians are coming out now. So I don't know if you know, but we do allow buskers in our market. So if people want to play, for tips, we can put them at different ends of the market, sometimes in the courtyard, and they can practice their bagpipes or violins or guitars. We've also expanded our footprint. I think we mentioned this last show.
I think, you were talking about
so we've got the section of High Street now, the north side, between Jimmy John's and Southside.
Yeah.
Jimmy John's and Children's Museum are now about 25 more vendors.
Okay, for those who know, this basically is the intersection of Court Street and High Street where the old courthouse was. So initially you were just around the courthouse.
Exactly.
Courtyard.
If you go to the intersection of Court and High, if you put that in your GPS, you're going to kind of be in the center of it all. And you can
a block or two away, you're going to see everything going on.
You can't drive down High Street without seeing all the activity.
Yeah.
And we've also, we've improved parking for anybody who in the past was having trouble finding parking. They will find plenty of parking now behind the PAC, the Portsmouth Arts and Cultural Center, 400 high. We've also struck deals with some local churches, so if anybody has any sort of problems finding parking, especially people with mobility challenges, stuff like that, flag down any of the military volunteers in the yellow vests and we will find you a space close, and it'll be very accessible and very, very easy to get to.
Okay. Now, you mentioned the different things, face painting and baked goods, and there's some great baked goods there. But is there like produce and like you even have meats and seafoods and stuff, don't you?
So we have our 3 major produce vendors and then we have other small farm
Duck
vendors
farms
also
and
that
things
do
like that,
specialized honey, duck eggs, duck meat.
I mean, where else are you going to find things like that?
Hey, Portsmouth Duck
Assorted
Farm.
plants, yes.
There is a Portsmouth Duck Farm.
And you get local honey from him.
Yeah.
Then we have our poultry and Twisted Farm.
Twisted Willow
Farm is poultry. We have Cornucopia, which is the grass-fed
Beef.
Dexter beef, which is specialized beef. They also cook. We have a couple of hot food vendors. We also have Russell's Seafood.
Russell's Seafood.
He's there every Saturday with fresh from
And
the Eastern
he has
Shore.
great stuff.
Yeah.
Our
And their
hot food
family goes
vendors
way back.
now, we welcome Taste of Port City. Which
So
is Cajun.
it'll touch your soul,
Yes.
as she says.
She is the queen of Cajun food.
The Cajun Queen. That's
Really?
exactly right.
Oh, I'm going to have.
You have to go down there and try it.
Ready to eat
Yep.
hot.
Check
She
that out.
sells samplers, and we have our Thai, Conifit Thai,
Yep.
Isan.
Street
Thai food.
Thai street food. That's
And
exactly
then we have
right.
our hamburgers and hot dog grill, Janice. will be there.
Sausages.
Yep.
Big
Cornucopia.
dogs. And what's nice is they're all local folks, which is another really, really cool thing. Like, Latasha from Taste of Port City works right here at the Shipyard, and this is what she does during. We have several folks who work at the Shipyard also who are doing stuff, and then the folks doing the Thai are locals, and one of them's a teacher at one of the local schools, and it's very, very community based, and it's exciting because you're not like seeing someone necessarily who's come here from far away. You're getting someone local, which means that they can then, hey, do you need help with this, that, or the other event? It becomes this phenomenal community and networking.
And also,
kind of
and
activity.
you're also economically, you're supporting
Helping the city.
the local economy too.
Big time. Yeah, very much
I know
so.
a couple of weeks ago I was on the Steeple to Steeple tour, and they had a pretty big groups. Probably about a third of them were not familiar with Portsmouth. They were from Hampton Roads, but they had never, as one of them, ventured into Portsmouth.
Right. So,
And when they got here, we passed through the farmers market. A couple of us were by it. They were just blown away by how much was going on down here, and how nice it was, and just the sort of the almost festival feeling.
Festival is a really good word because it really is. You never know. We want people to recognize that when you hear farmers market, you think just produce, that kind of stuff, but it really is like a street party that's going on. It's a community street party, and you're going to find everything going on down there. And,
from a Star Wars character,
literally,
Pokemon.
we have a different costumed cosplayer every week who comes in a different costume. So you might see, we see all these crazy scenes, but we had a 1780 something red coat standing with Darth Vader a couple of weeks ago.
Next to a 1949
Yeah, in
Ford.
front of a 49 Ford coupe, and we sent that to our friends up in Williamsburg just to say, is this historically accurate? Is everything okay? And they were like, well, I think the buttons on his coat are wrong. So, yeah, well, because what we like to joke with tourists is there's a lot of time travelers here. Some are even from the future, and you never know what you're going to see in downtown Portsmouth. A lot of history, a lot of future history, and we're seeing a lot of folks from, like you were saying, we see a lot of folks from all over Hampton Roads. Some folks looking to get away from their own tourist areas because they don't necessarily want to go to the ocean front or something like that. If they live in that neighborhood, it's just like too crowded for them.
Yeah, one of the great things is that it's in a walkable downtown area.
Right, and that's what a lot of folks will tell us that they don't have in other communities in the region. Is it's kind of a suburban bedroom community type area, where here in Portsmouth this was originally designed by people who only walked, and so it has remained a walkable downtown that people can just come and explore, and you never know what you're going to find in different shops and things like that. So we had somebody visit from Yorktown a couple of weeks ago. First time that he'd been down here in a long time, and he came for this classic cars and coffee, thing that we do on Saturday mornings, and he was just amazed. And his next words out of his mouth were, "I can't wait to bring my wife back here," because he can sit there and brag with his friends about how fast he used to be in high school with the other, drivers, and then his wife can go and explore the shops and go do whatever. And we see a lot
Tell us about the classical car thing. I know that's...
So it started out informally because the market has a 1949 International that's parked out there, and another guy came by who was a veteran and said, hey, can I bring my old truck? And sure. So we had the 2 trucks parked nose to nose, and then somebody else, because a lot of people will just be, because Portsmouth is a cool place to drive around in an old car. A lot of folks drive by and they see the 2 trucks and they're like, hey, can I park mine? And now it's become, it's a sort of an informal, formal thing, because it's really just a bunch of people parking and hanging out. But it's grown, and now we've got cars all lined down the street.
So saying classic cars has become part of the experience.
Classic cars and coffee, and then several, they cruise in, they stay as long as they want, exactly. And then several of the local restaurants have picked up on that. So if, for example, you come down here with a classic car, we will give you a code word, a secret word, that gets you free coffee and 30% discount at a local restaurant within sight of your car and stuff like that. And people find that to be really cool because they can come there, they can stay close to their car, and they can go get pizza or Jamaican food or mimosa, within sight of their car, which is really cool. The other groups that we've been seeing recently in the area, and it's seasonal, but we're on the Great Loop. We're mile marker 0 of the Intracoastal Waterway. So a lot of folks will intentionally come right here to the basin at Crayford Bay, and they will take a dinghy ashore, or they'll tie up here at the end of High Street on their own boats. They're on their own boats. And they come down here and they get produce and stuff like that. Like, they try to time it so they'll be here on a Saturday for the whole street experience, but also to get themselves provisions before they start heading either north or south, depending which way they're going on the Intracoastal Waterway. The other thing we're seeing is one of the cruise lines, American Cruise Lines, has now made this a stop. So they're stopping at the end of High Street often. They will actually tie this several 100-foot-long ship up at the end of High Street, and folks just come right down High Street. Or if they're over in Norfolk, they've now started running a bus over to Portsmouth to do the Historic Homes Tour with the History Alive group, the reenactors, the costumed reenactors. And so those are a lot of folks from the Midwest, Canada, and they're just so excited to discover Portsmouth. They've never been they've heard the word Portsmouth, but they never have been here before, and so for them it's very exciting.
Well, that's fantastic.
And we love seeing them.
I hope the viewers seeing this, if you've heard the word Portsmouth and you don't live in Portsmouth, really come and check this out. It really is just a lot of fun. Yeah, just the sense of community and just
you never know
overall goodwill. It's there. It's just great.
Out of towners are great, but the out of staters are wonderful because they're going home and posting about Portsmouth and how their next boat trip should be making the stop in Portsmouth in Oldtown. Well, so we're getting our word out there.
Yeah, and there's just so many stories of the community that grows out of this. I'll give you one little example. We have the young man, and I asked his mom, is it okay to say this? And she said, sure. There's a young man with autism who plays various instruments. He came to the market and was adopted by the market community, and now he's beloved, and you'll see him actually on some of the posters for the city and stuff like that, wearing a tri-corner colonial hat. But he, among other things, learned to play bagpipes right there at the corner of Court and High. Like, this is where he learned to play bagpipes. He started playing with the little chanter, and then So now, this Monday, we're creating, out of thin air, we're creating a new group. So I'll announce it here. We're going to call it the Portsmouth Pipes, based out of the farmers market, based here in Portsmouth. And because this is an official Coast Guard city, they're going to wear Coast Guard tartan kilts. They're going to have hat badges that we're going to get right out of the Welcome Center over here that have the Portsmouth logo on it. And they're going to play in the Memorial Day Parade with a bunch of the volunteers, marching with a bunch of the volunteers from the Military Affairs Committee, the military kids who help make all of these events downtown possible. And that's something that just was 100% grassroots that just happened here in Portsmouth. Which is very, very exciting. And we found that we've got followers all over the country because people will come here, they'll experience what they experience here, and then when they go home, they'll follow the Facebook page. So the Facebook page now has over 12,000 followers on social media.
That's great.
Folks from around the country who just like, how's Thaddeus doing? And we're so sorry to hear that Justice and Braley are moving to Florida for military orders. Like, it's kind of cool that it's turned into its own little reality show for viewers around the country. That's kind of exciting.
Well, that's fantastic. Thank you both for everything that you're doing as directors of the Farmers Market. Market and working, I think, with the Oldtown Business Association and all of that for really spearheading so much of this and really being an inspiration, I think, probably to everybody. I think everybody involved in Farmers Market would agree that you two are just doing a fantastic job. So thank you.
It's a lot of fun. We just love promoting the city. The city's such a gem. We just love being able to introduce people to it.
I agree. Thank you for doing that.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. There's 300 years of history here in Old Town Portsmouth, much of it on display in the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard Museum. Dr. Michael Hogan, curator of history for the museum, joins us next. Michael, welcome to Portsmouth Now.
Thank you for having me.
Good to have you here. Now, you're a historian. There's a lot of history here in Portsmouth. Quite a bit of it is at the Shipyard Museum. Can you tell those who might not have been there what they'll find if they visit there?
Yeah, so the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard Museum, our museum tells the history of the Norfolk Naval Shipyard, which sits just across the river from us. And we also tell some of the social, political, and economic history of Portsmouth as well.
Wow.
The focus is on the time period from about 1752 when the city was founded, all the way up until the end of World War II.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. Now, behind a few blocks behind the museum is the lightship Portsmouth. And that is also a museum. Or it's open. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the lightship Portsmouth, it was purchased and brought in by the city in the 1960s. It was an old U.S. Coast Guard lightship, which would function as a lighthouse out in the water where there were any hazards or objects that ships might hit. We're open Saturdays and Sundays during the week from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And guests can come on and see exactly what the boat would have looked like in the 1950s when people had been working and living on it.
Okay, now are they two different museums? Does one admission cover both?
So right now it's $3 admission to the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard Museum, and for the time being, the lightship Portsmouth is free on the weekends.
Okay.
But there will be an admission charge probably later in the year.
Okay, and what are the hours for the Naval Shipyard Museum?
It'll be the same as the lightship, but it's Wednesday to Sunday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Okay, great. So Michael, looking ahead to June and July, are there events taking place during those 2 months at the museums?
Yeah, so our museum systems here in the city will be participating in the Blue Star Family Program, which is free admission for active military families if they can present their military ID when they come to the museums. So this will allow us to provide more access to more families and more people across our sites.
Great. For those who haven't been to Oldtown, I mean, there's a lot of history here. The largest collection, I think, of historical homes north of Charleston, south of the DC area. What have you found charming? What do you like here historically in Old Town? What would you recommend people come here to look at?
Yeah, so if you actually go to the Portsmouth Museum's website, we do have 1 or 2 walking tours that will take you through Old Town. It'll talk about the architecture, some of the historic sites and historic markers that we have that touch on the people, places, and events that were central to shaping and forming Portsmouth's history.
Great, fantastic. And basically you can come here any time of the year and find the history.
Yes, anytime.
Right. Well, thanks so much for taking time to come here and talk to us. Welcome to Portsmouth. I think you just recently celebrated your first year.
Yep, last week.
Fantastic. Congratulations on that.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
To celebrate the summer solstice on June 20th, the Department of Parks and Recreation would like you to join us in a statewide initiative called Play All Day VA. There will be free activities for all ages and abilities from sunrise to sunset. You can start the day at 5:45 a.m. with a summer solstice celebration at Paradise Creek Nature Park, have free access to the driving ranges at both golf courses, play pickleball at the Sportsplex, take in a skateboarding clinic at Craddock Skate Park, or you can take a stroll or train ride around the beautiful city park. Visit our website at portsmouthparks.com or call our main office for more details. Don't forget to tag us on social media with photos of how you play using the hashtags PlayAllDayVA and PlayPortsmouthVA. It's the longest day of the year, so be sure to make time to play.
From our people to our passions to our fun, things have always been a little different in Portsmouth. And that's just how we like it. It's who we are that makes us, us. Portsmouth has always been the place to find something new, or old, unique or just different. Who else can say that? Let's break out of our routine and dare to be bold. It's time to go different. Plan your Portsmouth vacation today.
The Jewish Museum and Cultural Center is housed in one of the historic jewels of Oldtown, a beautifully restored 100-year-old synagogue. Barbara Rawson joins us next to tell us about the center's summer concert series. Barbara, welcome to Portsmouth Now.
Thank you.
Now, a lot of people don't know about the Jewish Museum and Cultural Center. Where is it located? And tell us a little bit about this beautiful building that it's in.
We are located at 607 Effingham Street. So we're right in the middle of the block. You can't miss us. The museum is housed in the old Hevra Tahalim synagogue, which was an Orthodox synagogue, and it's the first built as a synagogue in the city of Portsmouth. There are no more working synagogues in Portsmouth, so it's very important to keep this historic building going. Our mission is to educate and celebrate and learn about the Jewish faith and culture. We are open to the public by appointment. They can call the museum, which is 757-391-9266, or visit our website, which is jewishmuseumportsmouth.org. We have a number of programs. We opened as a museum in 2008. The synagogue was finished about 100 years ago, a little over 100 years ago.
And it's unique, and the architecture itself is a little unique, because when people think of a synagogue now, they think of basically a rather modern, maybe even a mid-century modern house of worship in a suburb somewhere. This is unique even for synagogues.
So this synagogue is modeled after the synagogue that the Eastern European immigrants left. So it's an Eastern European style of an Orthodox synagogue. The women were separated and sat upstairs, the men downstairs. It's a small synagogue. At its height, it probably had close to 200 members. About the mid-1980s, they could no longer support a working synagogue. It can be used as a synagogue, but it closed up. It was boarded up. It was in poor shape. And Zelma Ribbon, big Portsmouth advocate, we miss her very much. She made it her mission to save it, and she put together a nonprofit organization, and we restored it to its original with ADL additions. And from there we've just grown. So we started with a summer music series, which we still do. That started in 2009. And so every summer in July and August, we have 4 concerts. This year is going to be great. We have a pianist for the first concert, July 10th. We have a woman, she sings jazz, and she's singing a Jewish American songbook with some of the Broadway hits.
Which you could basically just call the American Songbook, because all of our great American composers were Jewish.
Yes, it's going to be great. And then we have a trio that's cello, piano, and Terry Voke. And we're bringing them in. And we have a klezmer band, which we had last year, and we're bringing them back because everybody enjoyed it. And klezmer is a Jewish folk, kind of mixed with jazz. It started as wedding songs and that type of thing, and it's very lively and a lot of fun. We also have a lecture series. We have a winter movie series where we do 4 movies that we narrate. We have a Jewish theme or a Jewish writer or whatever, and discuss it after the meeting.
And again, American cinema.
Yes.
The movie industry was pretty much started by Jewish immigrants. So.
Yes. Hollywood has got all the major movie studios were Jewish owned. So we have an exhibit on Jewish immigration to the Tidewater area and to America in general, and the contributions made. So Judaism, there's 2% of the population. However, the only 2 people that have ever won the EGOT, the 5 awards for Emmy, Oscar, Tony, Grammy, and a Pulitzer Prize were Jewish. So there's a lot of contributions, a lot of information. We have interactive exhibits that show all this and show the push and pull
Jewish
factors.
impact on American culture.
Yes.
I mean, we think of America for years talked about it being a melting pot, and America. But really, I mean, the Jewish contribution only being 2% of the population is amazing, because certainly the influence is way beyond those numbers.
Well, we hope that when people understand and they learn a little bit more, the world is just such a hard place, and understanding will help some of that. But one of our newest programs that we're in our 3rd year this year is we're partnering with the Worldwide Daffodil Project. And that is the goal, to plant 1.5 million daffodils around the world in honor of the 1.5 million children that perished in the Holocaust and children that are still in crisis today. And they picked the daffodils because it's yellow, and it's symbolic of the Jewish star, the yellow star that the Holocaust people had to wear.
Yes.
And it's resilient, it multiplies, it comes back. There's very little maintenance, but it comes back every year. We planted 7,000 at the museum, and we're now going out into other areas of Portsmouth. You might see them around Portsmouth, but in the spring it's wonderful. There's one in the street where there's a cross.
Over here in Oldtown?
It's a little further up.
Yeah.
But Portsmouth is wonderful in supporting us, and Mayor Glover has come every year and planted the first bulb for us.
Well, that's
so it'll be again in October, and then in March we celebrate the blooms.
Okay, so really there's stuff going on here all
the time.
Okay. So we're going to have you on back again then, as each of these come up. But for the summer now, we have the concert series, and that's in July
and August.
And if people want to get tickets to that or find out information, do they go to your website?
Go to the website, yes.
And give us that address.
JewishMuseumPortsmouth.org.
Okay, and on that website they can they buy the tickets?
They can buy the tickets, they can find out about upcoming events, there's a calendar, there's history. We are also doing a fundraiser, an auction July 11th to 23rd. It's all online.
Okay.
And there's tickets and all kinds of...
and this is supporting the work of the Museum and Cultural Center.
Yes, it'll go for our programming.
All right, fantastic. Well, good luck with that. I mean,
Thank you. Be
sure to check it out. I mean, like I described in the intro, that this historic synagogue really is a historic jewel. It's a beautiful building, and it's small, and you might drive right by it, but once you stop and go in there and take in, and what's available educationally there is really impressive.
And it's open by appointment, so if you just call, we can set up, depending on, some people have knowledge, some people don't, and we try to make the tours
personalized.
Personal, yes.
So what number would people call if they wanted to set up a tour?
757-391-9266.
Thanks for joining us, Barbara. And be sure to check out the Jewish Museum and Cultural Center in Oldtown, Portsmouth. When visiting Oldtown, the Children's Museum of Virginia is a must for kids and the young of heart of all ages. Here's Aaron Colson to tell us what's in store in June and July. Aaron, welcome to Portsmouth Now. Good to have you back.
Thanks for having me, Rob.
Okay, for those who have heard about the Children's Museum of Virginia but have never been there, tell us a little bit about what they could find in the museum.
Sure. The Children's Museum of Virginia is 70,000 square feet of fun across 2 floors, and our exhibits are designed for interactive play, and they all have a STEAM focus with them. So while we're doing science and technology principles, we're also playing and interacting and encouraging children of all ages and even the young at heart to participate. So you can walk down a downtown street and go in and out of the grocery store and the music shop, or fish off of our tugboat, play in our bubbles, or even enjoy our traveling exhibits.
And you learn about things like that, about the human body functions and things like that, the digestive system.
Yeah, absolutely.
A little bit of everything, really.
Yeah, we're super excited. We have a brand new Bodyworks exhibit opening thanks to Centera and the Portsmouth Museums Foundation. And it's all about how your body actually works. So you get to run on a treadmill and see what your heart rate does while you exercise. You can pedal a bike and watch your skeleton do it at the same time. So it's really going to give kids a chance to explore what their body's actually doing that maybe they can't see.
Also, a huge part of the the first floor is a train exhibit, antique toys and antique trains, which is just, I mean, even if you're an adult and you just, I know a lot of senior citizen aged gentlemen have gone there just to see this fantastic train exhibit that you
We have an incredible 10,000 piece antique toy and train collection, only about a tenth of which is on display. And we have a 900 square foot layout of the state of Virginia that we have no less than 9 trains running on at all times. So you can see the trains, see the actual layout, see things you'd recognize across the state as part of it. It's a really fun exhibit for adults and kids.
Okay, and you're open all year round.
Absolutely. Wednesday through Sunday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Tickets can be reserved online ahead of time at childrensmuseumvirginia.com.
Okay, now in the months of June, July, what's going on?
We have tons of fun stuff happening because it's summertime. First, I have summer camps in June and July, and I do still have spaces available in most of those camps. I'd encourage families to check our website because there are half-day and full-day options for rising first graders up through 5th grade.
Okay.
So something really fun to check out. In addition, we've got our second Saturdays and special needs Sundays. So June 8th and 9th, we'll be celebrating Andalo's birthday.
And Andalo is?
Andalo is the mascot of the Children's Museum of Virginia. Yes,
okay.
He's blue and yellow. He's your imagination brought to life. So it's a chance for kids to celebrate, but also we'll have special guests from Kugali Media, and we'll be previewing the Owaju cartoon and talking about the artistry behind it and how kids can get involved in art careers and creativity in the filmmaking industry.
Wow, that's
We're really excited. And in July, we're gonna be celebrating the Dog Days of Summer. It's the hottest part of the summer and it's named that way for a reason. So we'll talk about the Sirius constellation, constellations in the night sky, and celebrate with some hot dogs and other festivities.
Okay. Now you also have a traveling exhibit room, which has exhibits that come in for just a couple of months at a time, but it's changing throughout the year. Do you have something in there?
Absolutely. So starting June 1st, Shaun the Sheep, Flock This Way is opening in our traveling exhibit area. It's based on the claymation cartoon Shaun and all of his friends from the farmyard. So kids will get a chance to explore the lorry that they drive around with the animals in the back. They can play in Shaun's barn as well as help around the farm. So we're really excited for kids to explore that exhibit.
You know, people think of museums stereotypically as boring places.
Right.
And a children's museum, maybe they think it's a boring place for little kids. This is like another world. It's almost, it has the feeling of a theme park feel almost to it.
Yes.
It's a fun place for anybody.
Yeah, it's fully interactive, full play. We encourage touching of exhibits and exploration. We want kids to really immerse themselves in the experience and leave asking questions about what they learned or saw, and hopefully maybe spark their imagination and creativity going forward.
Okay, now people want to find out more. Again, what is the website?
It's childrensmuseumvirginia.com. You can get all the information on our upcoming events, checking out our events page, and reserve your tickets.
All right, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Rob.
Seafood is just a part of life here in Hampton Roads. And if you're a seafood lover, you do not want to miss the Port City Seafood Festival on June 21st. Here is Rod Triplick and Dominic Finney to tell us more about it. Dominic, Rod, welcome to Portsmouth Now. So you're here to tell us about the Port City Seafood Fest. Now, is this something new? Is this it's happening here?
Well, first, we're thrilled to bring the Port City Seafood Festival to Oldtown, Portsmouth.
Yeah.
It is a variation of an older tasting event produced by the Rotary Club. It was a barbecue event, and then COVID hit and it kind of got pushed to the side, and we're resurrecting another tasting event, and we're going to introduce seafood to the Oldtown waterfront.
Great, that's fantastic. Now when is that and where will that be?
It's going to be June 21st at Portside.
Oh, great.
At the North Ferry Landing. We're thrilled to activate that venue. It's so charming, right along the Portsmouth waterfront.
Yeah, nothing much is happening there anymore, so this is fantastic. Okay.
Yeah, we're real excited about it. And the city of Portsmouth does such a great job activating all of their public spaces.
Yeah.
And they've been very supportive of us coming down there and introducing the Seafood Festival.
Well, that's fantastic. So what will people find at the Seafood Festival?
Well, they'll find seafood. They'll find shrimp, crabs, raw and roasted oysters. We're bringing wicked salts down from the Eastern Shore.
Okay.
Thrilled about that. There'll be some adult beverages and some soft drinks as well. And then we're really excited to introduce Snack Bar Jones to the waterfront stage, right there along the waterfront.
Okay. Now, is this is a ticketed event?
It is. You can come down and enjoy the event and the waterfront without tasting. But if you do decide to taste, there is a all-inclusive tasting ticket. Gets you all of the food, all of the beverages, and there's some reserved seating available. You can also reserve a table for the bigger groups. You know, bring your neighbors down, bring some coworkers down. We're introducing tables of 10, so that you have a nice, comfortable place
to sit and take it all in and take in the food. Yeah. So now, if people wanted to get tickets, do they just show up the day of the event, or do they go online?
Well, they can do that, but we'd appreciate it if you bought the ticket in advance.
Okay.
PortCitySeafoodFestival.com. There's an early bird price, and then there's an advance price, so they're tiered. So the sooner you get your ticket, the less expensive it's going to be.
Okay, and that address again? That
PortCitySeafoodFestival.com. Okay. We also have a Facebook page.
Okay.
We're activating it with a bunch of content, introducing all of the oyster farm, for instance. We'll introduce some of the menu, some of the beverages.
Okay.
There's a lot to talk about, so we use
get
Facebook.
a taste before it starts.
I like that.
Okay, all right.
That was good.
Now, you said that this is sponsored by the Rotary. Now, you are with the Churchland Rotary, but this is the Churchland Rotary and the Portsmouth Rotary together?
The downtown Portsmouth Rotary Club and the Churchland Rotary Club.
Okay. And for those I know, we've all heard of the Rotary clubs. What is the mission of the Rotary Club? What do you do?
Well, we're a worldwide service organization, pretty much in every country around the world. There's over 1.5 million members of Rotary. Wow. And it's been in existence since the early 1900s. And all the clubs around here, we do service projects for the community, that we support community initiatives. Been doing it for years. Okay. And this is a fundraiser to allow us to continue to raise the funds to be able to do the service projects we do.
Fantastic. Now, if someone wanted to support the work of the Rotary or become involved, can anyone join? Are these?
Yeah. People can join the Rotary. They can the downtown club meets on Thursdays, right downtown here at Roger Brown's, and we meet on Tuesday mornings in Churchland at the Army Out in Churchland.
Okay.
So they could come to one of the meetings or get in touch with us. Both of us have Facebook pages as well as websites.
Okay, and I guess I'm sure you want all the members you can get.
Oh yeah, definitely. And, well, the more service projects we do, our members are very much involved in all the service projects. And actually, there's links on the Port City Seafood site that to both of our clubs.
Okay.
Yeah. So if somebody goes on
their tickets, they can find out more.
Yeah, they can find out more about Rotary. There's a page on there about both Rotary clubs, and clicking on that link will get you to either one of the clubs, and you can find out more about what we actually do.
Fantastic. Well, that's great. Well, thank you for all that you do. I mean, we can certainly use more organizations like the Rotary, to help make the community better.
Well, it's a good organization. A lot of business people that have been around this area for years, and it really we can use all the support we can get.
Okay, and so I guess if people wanted to support you, come out to the Seafood Fest.
And I just have to expand a little bit on what Rod said. The Rotary clubs have been fantastic to work with. We've been planning this event for months. Their motto is service above self, and it is incredible working with this group of people. We can't wait to introduce this Seafood Festival.
Well, that's fantastic. Again, one more time, give us the website address for that.
PortCitySeafoodFestival.com.
And the date and time?
June 21st, 4 to 8 in the beautiful Portside, right at North Ferry Landing.
Fantastic. Be sure to check it out. Our last guest today is Mark Palamarchuk, Director of the Portsmouth Department of Parks and Recreations, who tell us about some of the other festivals and great events taking place in Portsmouth this June and July. Mark, welcome back to Portsmouth Now.
Thanks for having me, Rob.
Well, June and July is here. I know we have a number of festivals and things taking place in Oldtown and around the city. Can you tell us about some of those?
Sure, yeah. Our festival season really kicks off in May, but it really gets going in June and July. Starting off actually with June 1st, we have our Portsmouth Pride Festival, 3rd annual at Festival Park. That'll be on that Saturday from 11 to 5. It's always a great time to come out, family-friendly activities and events going on. And then immediately after that, that following weekend on Friday and Saturday, June 7th and 8th, we have the Portsmouth Seawall Music Festival.
Okay.
Yes, so Friday will be from 6 until 11, and then come back out on Saturday from 2 until about 9:30 when we partner with the city of Norfolk to have the fireworks along the seawall. So it's always a great time to come out with your family and enjoy. Yes. And then we keep staying busy. So then the very next weekend after that, June 15th, we have the Juneteenth Festival. And this will be our 3rd year hosting that with the Urban League of Hampton Roads. And then after, actually before that, on that Thursday, June 13th, we start our Sunset Thursdays concert series.
Okay, and that goes throughout the summer?
It goes throughout the summer. It will be every Thursday from 6:30 to 9 at Festival Park, except for July 4th, because that falls on a Thursday this year.
Okay.
So we are doing our annual July 4th celebration combined with the Shaggin' on High event, which pays tribute to beach music and shag dancing and our very own Bill Deal.
Yeah, that's great. Now, are there things going on in other parts of the city that the Department of Parks and Recreation is sponsoring that people might be interested in?
Yeah, so, summer's always one of our busier times. Parks are open, shelters are available for rental, and then we also open our Splash Park and Cavalier Manor pool.
Okay.
Splash Park is free for anyone to come in and enjoy, and the pool is a very nominal fee, only $1 a day per person.
Oh, okay, can't beat that.
Right.
All right, well, thanks so much for taking time for your busy schedule to tell us what's coming up.
I'm happy to be here.
Good to have you.
Thanks.
Well, that's it for our show today. If you'd like to find out more about any of the events featured on today's show or any other events taking place in Portsmouth, simply log on to www.portsvacation.com and then come to Portsmouth, where if you give us a day, we'll give you a vacation. I'm Rob Lauer. Join me for the August episode of Portsmouth Now.